Callagher, and behind me here is a Vaporcat 5.0.
So my name's Paul Bury. I'm partners with Dax in the Vaporcat project. So I come into the partnership on the engineering and technical side. I've got a lot of experience in designing conventional deep V monohull powerboats and engineering those sort of boats as well. The benefit I see of the Vaporcat is the general usability across a whole range of purposes. You could go out sports fishing one day and then you can take the family out the next. It's stable, you can board passengers here, you can put 2 people on this area here. You're not going to do that on a 5-metre monohull. It's a very versatile platform. You can turn it into any sort of boat you want. It doesn't have to be a hardcore fishing boat. Basically this boat's like a go-kart, so it will drive wherever you put it. It takes some wrestling at times because it's a beamy boat and it gets pushed around, but it's completely safe and the handling is very predictable.
It's 5 metres overall, 4.85 measured length. It's got 2.3 metre external beam and 1.9 internal beam. 800 kilos is the weight with the 70 horsepower on the back. It's got 20-degree dead rise at the transom.
So cats offer some significant advantages over monohulls. You can see the stability you get from a cat straight away. We have obviously a significantly beamy vessel. The centres of flotation are quite far apart. It's a stable platform. But we're also obviously concerned about powering in a seaway, and we need to make a lightweight, efficient structure that will go through the sea without knocking your teeth out. We're very, very light at the same time. So a cat gives you that advantage of being able to carry the lightweight and the hull form that gives you that sea keeping. So we've only got a 70 horsepower engine on this boat. You know, a conventionally built monohull would require a lot more than that. So those two things, the ability to carry stability and also the lightweight sea keeping we can get with this configuration is unmatched with a monohull. This is an asymmetric catamaran, unlike the Bruce Harris style shark cats. So we have, essentially, it's a deep V monohull split down the middle and the 2 demi-hulls pushed apart to create a tunnel. We can carry a significant amount more dead rise than a symmetric hulled catamaran. We also have the benefit of not pumping water into the tunnel. If you have a V on this side, you can imagine that water gets pushed into this tunnel and creates that rooster tail effect. So we don't have that because we've got parallel running surfaces on each side of this hull. So the wave breaker you see here is quite important because we have a single engine configuration, which is unusual in catamarans and it's not easy to get right. So the wave breaker is a moulded part there, and after that there is the fuel tank, which is a separately built part. That pushes water down onto the leg of the engine, enabling the engine to operate efficiently. If we didn't have that wave breaker, the engine would be faced with a large amount of water pushing on the leg and it would create too much drag. So that's what that's for. It also serves to actually cushion any waves that hit in the wet deck under there. The capacity of that fuel tank, as we have it here, is about 95 litres. The production version will be 120 litres. This device here minimises the amount of spray and water-air vapour that gets pushed up and over and into the cockpit. So this is a production powerboat. So we're building this boat in volume, and the only way this boat's going to succeed if it's built light and very strong. So to do that, we're using vacuum infusion for all the hull and the deck, and the bulkheads are all vacuum consolidated foam core panels. And vacuum infusion on the hull and the deck allows very high fibre fractions and very low resin weight. We also use vinyl ester in the hull, like entire laminate, not a tie layer. The whole hull is infused with vinyl ester resin. There's no timber in the boat. We have PVC foam, structural foam on the top sides, structural foam in the floor, high density, some core mat, and basically directional fibres everywhere else. No chop strand mat beyond a tie layer to stop print through of the underlying layers in the laminate. A it goes great. It really does eat up the chop. It sort of doesn't, you can really feel the cushion of air and water vapor that you're riding on, really helping things in the ride. It doesn't turn like a monohull, it turns like a cat.
It's got a very unique bow shape. It's actually got a forward raking bow. And what that does is that gives us some extra waterline length than you would otherwise find on a normal hull. So a normal hull that would sort of come back here and cut back here, your waterline length would be reduced by 1.5, 1.2 meters. So with this design here, having that extra waterline length, it just means we can crest those wave tops in slightly bigger conditions and still keep the ride comfortable, whereas on a normal hull that would have the 4-foot chop back, you would have to slow and come off the plane and then go home at a much slower pace.
The configuration of the first 5 metre is a general all-round sort of fishing boat platform. So we have up the front, we have a sort of standard anchor lock. You can mount a winch in there. This is a sort of casting platform. After that, we have a large locker that's insulated and drained, so it's an esky essentially. Then we have the centre console. The kill boxes have been sized for dive tanks each side, and then after that we have storage under the seat, and then we have the live bait tank with the battery system under that for the engine, and then port and starboard lockers each side. Side pockets are in development. All the new ones have side pockets, so they will just be inserts. We do have foam, buoyancy foam under all the gunnel, and in all the void compartments are foam filled, so it obviously complies with current Australian standards for recreational craft. I do a lot of certification work for monohulls with carrying passengers for offshore charter fishing. They have a real issue with stability and compliance with current national standards. It's not easy to get enough people on a monohull with a hard top to make it to work offshore. Cats don't have that problem. They have the reserve stability that's required for commercial work in offshore waters. This is a great little boat, but we really think the market is going to be at the 7.5 by 2.5 metre beam.
So this, as you see fitted out here, is 65,000, and then that's with a 70 horsepower outboard on the back. And then if you want to step up in horsepower, then it's just a difference in engine price from that. Cheers to the boys who put in the time to draw those long brown things on the side of the hull. Made my wife very jealous, actually.
The captain readers have come through with some really good feedback. We've taken it on board, and we're here today as a consequence of that. Thank you guys.